Hi, I'm Johan of J Artworks. In this video, I will talk about how to see the world through shapes. In the last video, we constructed the image of a crystal ball with the shape of a ball and a cylinder. And I will speak more extensively now about the usage of shapes in art. When I went to my first ever drawing lesson, my drawing teacher told me that learning how to draw is about learning how to see. And he then introduced us to the concept of three-dimensional objects that we construct the material world around us with when we're drawing. These shapes are the cube, the cylinder, and the ball. Now, it might seem like a bit of a generalization to say that everything around us is made up out of these three objects, and it will appear more and less obvious in certain cases. But I will go through with you now some examples of how we construct the world around us with these shapes. And in some cases it will be more obvious and you will see it right away, and some other it will be less so. Let's have a look at this together now. So, what I did was I went out into the small town where we lived, and I looked for different objects in the streets that would serve as good examples. These two box-like flower pots caught my attention early on, and it doesn't take so much imagination to see how we would find the structures of two cubes by looking at them. To make it extra clear, I have drawn some lines to illustrate what I mean. If you are more used to seeing the world like this, you might have thought that the round flower pots on the sides come from the shape of balls, and we could also say that the little feet on them are cylinders. However, one thing at a time. For now, all that's important is that you understand that if you would want to draw these flower pots, the cube is your best friend. In some of the following pictures, we will see more than just a cube shape present. So, for the sake of clarity, I have decided to color code the different shapes so that the cube is yellow, the cylinder is blue, and the ball is red. Before I photographed the flower pots, I came across this bench. In this object, it's not so immediately obvious which objects we should think about to construct, it, as it was with the previous ones. But if you focus on the wooden part of the bench, something soon becomes apparent. And that is that these wooden pieces are like 6 long cubes. The rest of the bench has less obvious shapes. But starting off by identifying the cube-like shapes in this bench would be a good starting point if you wanted to depict it in a drawing or a painting. As I was making my way out of the apartment building, I was met with this fire extinguisher and its container. We have two very clear shapes present here. The fire extinguisher itself in the form of a cylinder, and the cube-shaped container in which it sits. A shape inside a shape, if you will. I came across this building at the close-by bus terminal, and I immediately identified two clear shapes. I saw that the building was the shape of a cube, and the lamps were ball-shaped. I also saw that the sign saying Terminal de Autobuses Puerto de Mazarón was another cube shape. This street light provides an excellent example of using all three shapes. It stands on a concrete formation resembling a cube. The pole of the street light is very much a cylinder, and on the very top we have a clearly ball-shaped lamp, just like at the bus terminal. Now, you might think to yourself, this is all good and everything, but all you have shown me are man-made objects. What if I want to depict living beings? How do I find these shapes in the human body, for example? Here is where things get more interesting. In this picture of my face, where I try unsuccessfully to not look troubled while squinting my eyes, they are sensitive to the sunlight. We can start off by introducing some lines that imply the underlying structure of my head. We have one vertical line in the middle, indicating the middle of my face. A horizontal line indicates the middle point of my eyes, all the way to my ears. There's also a line simply representing my mouth. The shape of my head is made up of the shape of a ball, and a bow-like shape serves as my jaw underneath. We also have two balls representing my whole eyeballs. This is thought to be the size of my eyes if we saw them completely exposed, behind the skin and muscle. Finally, the last important shapes to mention here is the long cube representing my nose and the cylinder serving as my neck. This time we will look for the shapes in a hand. In this case, think of ball shapes signifying joints that allow your fingers and your wrist to move. The fingers themselves are then made up of cylinders, 3 for every finger except for the thumb, which has 2. I have marked the middle of the fingers with 1 line each. The palm of your hand is imagined as a cube shape, accompanied by a triangular shape that extends out to the thumb, as you can see. A cylinder shape makes up the part of our forearm that we can see in the picture. I will let you digest these examples for now. Perhaps in a future video we can take a more in-depth look on how to construct the other parts of the human body with 3-dimensional shapes. Now these are some examples of how we can see these 3 shapes in the material world all around us. Make sure you use this knowledge to your advantage in your future illustrations to create a sense of depth and a 3-dimensional quality to your creations. If you like these videos, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to support me further and have a chance of affecting the actual content uploaded, support me on Patreon. And I say, thank you for watching.